Guys, I want to welcome everybody to the July 28th, 2021 Short Sale Profits Supergroup. I'm the supergroup leader for the Short Sale Profits, and I am really excited tonight to bring you some really exciting information as the forbearance program winds down and 18 months of backlog, uh, you know, takes place like a log jam about to come flowing down the river, guys. So you're smart to get interested in short sales right now, because for years to come, just like in 2009, for years, short sales was the driver of the method of ways to buy your houses. So tonight, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what I call like a market update. So I've got a short sale profits group that I run on a monthly basis. It's a group coaching call, and I just recently did a very detailed analysis, I don't know, kind of analysis research. So I read a lot of articles about real estate, foreclosures, the housing market, the unemployed. And since I'm an engineer, I like to really look at what's taking place and what the key factors are. And so, in that monthly group that I have for just short sales, it's a group coaching call. I do an analysis with that, and I also post all the links to the articles so you can read them yourself. And so what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to play that recording, that audio, that video recording of that analysis, because it's very timely and very important right now for anyone who's interested in short sales to understand where you're at with the CARES Act and the forbearance, the moratorium on foreclosures. Now, we're not talking about the evictions, not the CDC. That's renters. Those are two separate things. You got the moratorium on foreclosures and the moratorium on evictions. Two different plans, two different set of rules. Just talking about the foreclosures, there have been almost none for 18 months. It got reduced by 90%. That ends July 31st in just a couple days, guys. So you need to know where these people are at, where the market's at, and what's going to happen to these people and stuff. And so I'm going to go ahead and play that one video here, if I can figure out how to do my little computer system here. Okay, cool. That worked pretty good. Okay, so this is a recording that I did for my short sale profits group here, that there was a market update, and it was really good. So I'm going to share this with you guys on it. And so let's go ahead and play this. Throw questions into the chat box. Any question at all. Share your contact information in here. I'll go ahead and throw mine in here too. So feel free to share your contact information. Should be able to save the chat box. Okay. With the lower right corner, 3 dots, click on that and click Save Chat. So feel free to put all your contact info in there and stuff, and what cities, state you're in on it. So let's go ahead and let's do this market update. Throw your questions into the Q&A box or the chat box. Either one is fine. And at the end of the 20 minutes here, I will answer all your questions. And then I'll move on into a shortened presentation. We only have 1 hour on these calls. So anyway, let's go ahead and play this and pay very close attention to it. And if you want the actual links to all the so you're going to see a video of the website. So you're not going to be able to write down the website, right? So if you text short, S-H-O-R-T, to my phone number in the chat box, I'll send you the Microsoft Word file with the links. So you just click on them and read these articles yourself. Some fantastic graphs and a lot more detailed information in it. So put your seatbelts on and pay attention to these articles here. Yep. Okay. Hello, Kathy. Go ahead and mute yourself, guys. Use the chat box if you've got any questions. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I want to welcome everybody to the July 19th, 2021 Short Sale Profits Q&A group coaching call. I hope we can get questions tonight. I've got 2 or 3 emails with questions. I want to go through the state of the market tonight. I want to answer then any questions that people have, including the ones on email. And then I'm going to play some certain selected seller calls that I think are really applicable to where we're at in the market right now. And I'm going to try to fly through the market update, and I'll actually have a Microsoft Word file that will have all these links in there so you can go back and read the articles with it and stuff. So, and I'm going to fly through them so fast that you'll need to go and read the article. I want to end up at the end, my last 3 uh, uh, pieces here I have opened up that's specific. So I'm going to start left to right, and what I'm going to do is kind of go back through, middle of June to middle of July for the last month's update of the market, and end up where we are today and talk about the crucial steps that we're in right now and try and clear up a little bit of confusion on what's going on with it and everything. So, so let me go ahead and start with that. So I'm going to go over here, and once again, all of the links will be posted in a Word file on Facebook tomorrow so that you can get access to them. And I'm going to try and follow a set of notes. So I'll keep looking over to the left, so that it'll, kind of try and keep me on track so I can just kind of highlight or say some of the important parts with it and stuff. Okay, so this basically here, is a company called CoreLogic. Now they're a little bit behind. Okay, this was posted July 13th, but they're referring to the March data. But what I like about it is that they're accurate. It's not projecting. It's not taking statistical anomalies and protracting them out. They're actually kind of going back and looking at the data and stuff. And so some of the key points that we want to point out to, and I can just summarize it in a couple of sentences right up front, is there's a serious delinquency rate that we have with everybody in the CARES Act forbearance program. And what's actually happening is, everybody's in there and they're all pushing towards the end. They're all pushing towards the serious delinquency, quantity. So it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. Yeah, we've dropped from 4 million people to 2 or 3 million, but, we've increased our percent of serious delinquents all the way up to 3.3% of them. I mean, that's people that the banks could snap their fingers and immediately foreclose on them. That's a huge number. This isn't just a people in foreclosure status, and some are 30 days, some are 60 days, some pay off after 30, some get, things taken care of after 60. And so, all those days and everything start to drop down or drop out with it and everything. And so, these are actually 90 days or 120 days or more. We have 3.3% back in April. Okay. Moving on, this particular one here is good for graphical people. So what you want to look at here is your 120-day plus is at 2.8%. Okay. A year ago, April 2020, it was 0.9%. So these 90-day, delinquencies are rising higher. In other words, everybody's just sitting there with their fat butts sitting in the forbearance program doing nothing and just accumulating days on market and putting themselves all in to when is the musical chair stop here. Okay, this one particular is just talking about once again the 120 day, the 3.3% on it. Now this is an interesting one here. I'm not going to spend time, but this is a PDF file. This is really for the brain nerds. I actually sent one of these out back for the previous month. Now this is May, but if you ever have any questions about, the delinquency rate, where the people are at, who's falling on, who's falling off, and where we're at, who's going from 30 days to 60 days. Here's your planned expirations. Okay, so in June we had 400,000 people, July 600,000, and it's really all the way through September and October we have a lot of people that actually their plans expire. There's nowhere to go. There's no more plan to be on. And so this is a very interesting thing. I'm just gonna, not spend any more time on it because there's a million questions that it can answer in here. And I've actually only read about half of it myself. moving on, trying to get through this quickly because I do want to save time for questions and for a whole series of seller calls. I really got a good lineup that I think apply to exactly what you're going to be seeing today from people coming up with it and stuff. And so moving over to my Word file here to try and keep up and follow with this here on it. And so basically, you know, we're looking at, let's see here, let me look. With that, re-entries on it. So yeah, this is just showing, it's hard to see here. I guess I can try to blow it up a little bit. So this blue line is the original foreclosure debacle back in 2006. The red line is where we happened due to the pandemic. So, you know, almost a year and a half later, you know, we have had a much tougher time. We are coming back fast, but we also spent, you know, a year, 18 months, way much worse shape than where we were here in the 2006 area with it. And I'll show some unemployment data here that really bears this out. So this is, so once I've said this several times, it's all about, you know, I don't care what you want to say, you know, with, you know, loan modifications or all these other kind of things. You know, people have to have a job to qualify to do the loan modification. Nobody's going to qualify, you know, to do that. Okay. And so this is one of the problems and the reasons here. In June, the long-term unemployment rate, and that's what we're looking at. We don't care about new people coming in, losing their job and applying for unemployment. We look at those people that have already been there 27 weeks or longer. Okay. And that's 4 million people. Okay. That we have a phenomenally huge number, you know, that are in that, you know, particular position with it and stuff. It's moving over to here. Okay, so now, you know, this, some of the Black Knight data, I post that as we go throughout the month a bit with it too. And so, you know, what we're looking at is we talked about those people that are, you know, actually in that rolling off. I showed you that little thing right here with these people. So we're always looking at what percentage of these people get kicked off and what percentage get loan modifications, what percentage pay the entire loan off, right? Okay, and so basically this Black Knight data, July 2nd, you know, early on was basically saying that out of 300,000, or no, out of 146 plans that were reviewed for extension or removal, 44,000 left the forbearance program and 102,000 were extended. So they keep extending, you know, these people, you know, in the forbearance program. Now this is back, you know, in June too with it. Then this next Black Knight data was on July 9th, 2 weeks later, and then we're looking at here, you know, now this is something I've been pointing out for a while now. We looked at the FHA foreclosure rate being triple the national average, you know, triple Fannie Mae. And I told you guys target FHA sellers, okay? But I've also tried to make note these others are basically portfolio loans with banks. They've been rising, okay, not going down. FHA has fallen from 9% to 6%, okay? But all of the others, you know, have been coming along and, you know, going in and rising up. So it's darn near getting to be as much as the FHA. Now, of course, it's a little bit harder to find those people. Now, this is really good. This is from MBA. It's more accurate. It falls a little bit behind. This is on June 28th. And so what we're looking at here is this data right here of the cumulative forbearance exits, okay, from June 1st to June 20. Where did these people go to? Okay, 27% resulted in a loan deferral or partial claim. In other words, they stuck it on the back end of the loan, which means these people can't refinance, they can't sell their house because they have to pay it all off. That's really a great thing that you say stick it on the back of the loan, but you know that doesn't help you with the amount you owe. When you go to refinance with a bank, you know, you have to pay it all off and therefore your monthly payment goes up. 23% continued to make their monthly payments during the forbearance period. There's a little bit of uncertainty of what that really actually means. Why are you in forbearance if you're making your payment? So I think that they're making some kind of partial payments. One we want to kind of look at is we want to drop down here. 1.5% basically were involved in short sales, okay? So that's a very small percentage of the people because one, there isn't people like you out there reaching out, to people who have, got a situation where they know they're going to get foreclosed on and you can help them. 7.5%, refinance their loan. That's a pretty pitiful amount. Okay, 7%. That means people are not, able to go out there and qualify for a loan. So this musical chair is keep driving this high percentage of people into the 90 120 day late list. They can't get off of it basically with it and everything. And if you got any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat box, and if you want to ask one, shout really loud because I can't really see who's speaking and not speaking with it. But and so this is July 2nd. This is a little bit later. This got the same data. You can look at how this may or may not change here. But what we're looking here is something kind of interesting about Ginnie Mae loans. Okay, that basically, that that this is kind of interesting thing. Some banks are trying to sell these loans off. So you see a lot of note investors talking about getting involved in note investing. Well, actually, the government's tracking those buyouts and keeping track of those as delinquent loans. So they're not really getting off the hook. Okay, these note investors are going to have to deal with the same situation of not having non-performing, notes on here. So they're not really. So while they think they're selling these loans off, at least the government right now is still tracking what happens to them, what happens to the homeowner with it basically. Let's see here, jump down, try to make sure I can keep up with this here. So this one here is back to some of the unemployment data. This is on July the 15th, kind of some of the most current data. And really what I was going to point out here, was the gig workers, the independent contractors. Okay, you've got over 3 million people that are have unemployment claims that are gig workers. There's almost 6 million the 6 million is the gig workers. Okay, and then there's the one that has the extended it's beyond the 26 weeks. So we've got, so while they make it look like the unemployment rate's going down, what it's doing is they're rolling off of the 27-week time frame, the standard core federal unemployment, stuff that you have, via the state, and they're basically rolling all into the, the emergency, the extended, PEUC and PUA, which is gig workers, and the people who get qualified for the extended thing. So, that means that you can't really, refinance out there or anything like that. So, so basically, it's not getting any better. So the next one here, trying to get through this quickly, guys. Once again, I'll be emailing you all of these links to these articles so you can go back and you can look at it and everything here. So so this one is just once again talking about the portfolio loans going up to 4%. FHA is improving somewhat, and it has come from 9% down to 6% on here. Once again, just I posted this a long time ago. This is actually the mortgage payments for those types of loans. So if you back calculate this, this will tell you exactly what the average loan value ARV of the house is that you want to target. Now I've already done the calculations in a post on the Facebook group, okay, with it and stuff, but that is part of that thing there. So this was something, I want you to notice the date, April the 6th. I've been following this since April the 6th, okay. No foreclosures until 2022 if the new CFPB rules passes. In the next 3 articles, I'm about to discuss those 3 articles about, what that really means and what's being applied here. So this is kind of old data, but once again, there's a reason for it, okay? And I'll show you in these articles here. Um, first of all, let's go to the one from Biden that just came out recently. Okay, so Biden renews the foreclosure ban one last time. Okay, I said several months ago, in the last several months, that they would not, that they would extend the forbearance. I kept it saying, and I kept saying it, and they've been doing it. And now I've said they're not going to extend it, and Biden agrees with me right here. See, he says he renews it one last time. And I think he's right. He cannot extend it again. He is a president. He has to say and do the same thing. Okay. And so, if he negotiates with the Democrats or the Republicans, he can't make one statement and then do something different. Now, this has nothing to do with getting political and, all this other stuff that happens. But the point is, there are too many people that want to have houses on the market because there aren't enough inventory. In other words, the crowd is much larger than the 2 million people that are in forbearance that are crying out for inventory to get on the homes, to get onto the market and everything. And so, this is basically why he's did it one last time through the end of July. Okay. And it's not going to be extended. Okay. Now here's what's going to happen. Okay. This is important. Okay. On it. This is what I was following back in April. And I will tell you, I have not analyzed the 200 pages yet because I wanted them to get finalized. I hope to do that over the next, for the next group coaching call, because this is your outline. This is what's going to happen. This is how they're going to process all these. Okay. And so, this documentation will govern what happens at the end of July. Now, does that mean because forbearance does end? It is ending, guys. There's no doubt about it. But what happens next? Okay. Well, what happens next is this. Now, this last article here is a little bit kind of interesting. FHA won't give the servicers a break on this 200-page document. So what happened was this rules, these 200 pages were supposed to be applied at the end of August. Well, what happened was they came out and said, no, you're going to have to apply them at the end of July. Okay, so you see this right here. So they weren't ready for the rules to go into play until the end of August. And now there's this gap of 1 month in between. So what they just said was, okay, guys, you just have to apply the rules a month early. Okay, so that's what's happening. Trying to keep this real short. And so now, of course, what does this mean? Okay, as far as those rules. And so what it basically means in a super fast nutshell is you have judicial states and non-judicial states. And what it basically says that anybody that was basically in foreclosure previously or for 6 months prior to that, they're axed, they're dead, they're cut off, it's over with. These rules don't even apply. The bank's going to immediately start the foreclosure process. Now, what does that mean? Well, what that means is whatever you have in your state. Okay, we know in Missouri there's 2 30-day letters that come out, and then that is the second 30-day letter, states that this foreclosure date will be in 30 days. 9 days later, they publicly post it, and boom, the house is gone. In other states, it'll be a different process, but basically, they'll start that process immediately for those people. Now, how many people's in that? Go back and read this other, article here, this one with all this stuff in it, and you can see that. But those people are at the end of the rope. Now, then the other thing is, what about all the, 1.3 million people that are more than 90 days late, in the system? What do you apply to them? Okay, and basically what it comes down to is the banks have to do a application process with the homeowner to find out if they can qualify for a loan modification or if they can pay it off. So they're going to be basically doing almost everything that we do in a normal short sale, which is pay stubs, tax returns, bank statements and stuff like that. So my biggest fear is, how are the banks going to choose to do that? I would really love if they would just contact us and tell us who all these people are, and we could go to the person and gather all this information up because we want it for a short sale anyway. But basically, the banks are going to have to get this paperwork process started on August the 1st with them. And they basically, if the person doesn't respond, then basically two things can happen. One, and I don't know the exact rules, but I know that the general rule is if the person doesn't respond at all, then they only have 3 months and they're going to lose, the house will go to foreclosure and there's nothing they can do about it. But in the process of doing the paperwork, someone say does respond, and they find out, okay, they don't qualify, for a modification because they have no job, okay, which is 9 million people, which is most likely, guys, the people in forbearance, right? There's a match. See that? So it's not very, it's not likely to end up being in a position where they're going to get anything very good out of it. I mean, I think the statistic was so far only about 15% are actually coming out with any kind of loan modification on the system. So basically, that's it. I want to keep this short and went kind of too long as it was. I'll open it up real quick for a few questions on me, on this, what I just presented here, nothing else. And then I'm going to start a new recording for the rest of the session on here. But if you have a chat box question, throw it in the chat box or unmute yourself real quickly on any of this data or about the forbearance here. That I'm going to play some audios with you that Carl's done that's pretty good, that I think is going to show you the type of people that you're going to see happening and how you should respond to them, when they call you and stuff. So I'll play you some good stuff that Carl, one of my one-on-one students has been practicing and doing for quite a while with it and stuff. But if you have any specific questions on the data, just unmute yourself and ask it. I'm going to grab a drink of water, and that's okay. Anyway, so guys, I think that's the end of this here. I'm going to okay, so post any questions in the chat box on what we just went through. I do have a short presentation because we do have about 20 minutes left, basically. So I'll try to pull that up here. But go ahead and throw any questions about what you just saw in the chat box. It's really, really interesting information. I think that, you want to really pay attention to that because if you're interested in real estate, you have to find a way to buy houses. What's your method? Are you going to go to the courthouse steps and do foreclosures? Well, that put a lot of people out of job for 18 months because there was only 10% of the homes on foreclosure courthouse steps. So those people kind of went out of business, just like the foreclosing attorneys had drastic. I had more real estate attorneys who were doing foreclosures for the banks contact me to become real estate investors. I'm not kidding you. So these people that used to be on one side of the short sale negotiation are coming to me saying, hey, I see you're a coach. I lost my job as an attorney because there's no homes to foreclose on. So anyway, you got to find some way. Do you want to buy free and clear houses? Do you want homes, with some equity? Do you want to do monthly payments? So, you need to kind of look at how you're going to do that. So I'm going to kind of go through, just a little short presentation about short sales for some that may know or don't know what short sales are. We don't have a lot of time left. Once again, if you text short, I can send you the full presentation that goes in a lot more detail. I really wanted to get that update in because July 31st, the Forbearance CARES Act has ended. There is no argument about it. It is over with. And so now the banks have to follow that CFPB 200-page Regulation X document. And I'll be doing an analysis of that in my monthly Q&A group coaching call on that coming up. What are the stipulations? What do the banks have to do? How do they process these people? And basically over the next 3 months, they got a maximum of 3 months to process these people. Okay. And there's a ordered criteria. Okay. to what happens. And so they're going to foreclose immediately on a certain group, and then they're going to foreclose immediately on another group, and then it's just going to go right down the line, guys. And so you're going to see an amazing time. So Jonathan has a question here. Do you have some ARV calculation to come up with a max offer price on a short sale? Very good question. I actually have a basic short sale workshop. If you go to my website, go to trainings and workshops, I actually have an all-day basic workshop that teaches you A to Z, everything what you need to know for short sales. You don't need any other workshop or training to do short sales other than maybe the monthly group coaching call. And what I teach in that, Jonathan, okay, is not your normal ARV. So as an investor, you're being taught to the Mayo calculation, right? Maximum allowable offer. That is taking the ARV and multiplying by, 0.75%, 0.75, and then subtract the repairs, and that's your maximum allowable offer. Any real estate investor is allowed to buy houses that method. That's the way you do it. In the basic workshop, I basically teach you to do your offer this way. Do the calculation. So you've got the same ARV calculation, okay, that you're talking about with it. What is a house worth all fixed up, in a good state? What is that, times 0.75%, and then minus whatever the repair cost is. That's your maximum allowable offer. When you have the maximum allowable offer, Jonathan, I want you to cut it in half. Yeah, this is the kind of houses you want to buy. Don't buy, regular houses at Mayo. I want you to cut it in half, Jonathan. And then, you ready? If you don't laugh, if you're not laughing at that price, I want you to cut it in half again. Okay, there's your offer. Okay, I just sold a house last weekend, Jonathan, that I paid $58,000 for. Okay, it was a short sale, $58,000. Okay, I put about 30 in it. Okay, didn't need a whole lot, but I put 30 in it. So I've got 88,000 in it. Do you want to guess what I sold it for last weekend? Got 88 in it. Okay, what do you think I sold it for? Throw it in the chat box. Somebody put it in there. I paid 58. I put 30 in it. I got 88 in it. I listed it for sale. Last weekend. I got offers, multiple offers, and I accepted one. And actually, they've actually already done the appraisal, by the way, and stuff. 200K. Good, Jonathan. You're great. I like that. That's fantastic. You're a short sale type person. You're way too low, but you got the right idea. See, a lot of people would say, well, if you paid 88, if you sold it for 120, that's a lot of money. If you sold it for 150, man, you're rolling high on it and stuff. But no, Jonathan, I sold it and it appraised 2 days ago. Clear to close, well, not clear to close, we have to close next week, for $220,000. Okay, I don't know what 220, I haven't done it yet. Okay, 220 minus 88, what is that? Come on, calculator, spit that out. $132,000. That's a short sale, okay, for you and stuff. But anyway, let's get through some of these slides, and do throw your questions in there. If we did all questions, I would be perfectly happy, because these slides are just so these are some. I'm going to fly through these because you probably know who I am, and at least be here for the recording, for people playing it later. But you have to do these things. I'm not an attorney, I'm not an accountant, I'm not even a real estate agent, I'm not an actor. None of this stuff is tax or legal advice. This is just my interpretation. I'm the founder of Short Sale Profits, the founder of the davidrandolph.com. Who am I? I've learned from the best national and local experts. I do a lot of research. You can see that, text short and get all those websites that I just had. I'm a full-time entrepreneur, multiple businesses and income streams. Chemical engineer, computer science, that explains it. I am anal, very detail oriented. I quit my job in 2006 at age 42, became full-time real estate investor in 2010. Okay, just a small guy. I don't work for some other big company. My realty renovator buys, rehabs, and sells about 5 to 10 houses a year. All my renovated houses listed under 260 have sold in 7 days or less at list price or above for 10 years. Okay, they're drop dead gorgeous. My typical profit is 90 grand per house because I negotiate and buy houses as short sales. That's my method of buying houses. I work directly with the homeowner and the lender. This is not with a realtor on the MLS. Don't think realtor, don't think MLS whatsoever and stuff. I also lend out money. So I've made so much money in my IRAs. I got almost 3 million of my money that I can lend you, to other rehabbers. In my lending program, I'll lend you all the money to buy, all the money to fix, all the money for the points on the loan, and all the money for the monthly interest payments. You guys need $0 in your checking account and everything. So here I've started now teaching short sales because people came. I did a presentation in 2019. Now I'm doing one-on-one coaching. I've got workshops on my website, basic, intermediate, advanced. You only need the basic workshop. I hated when people created materials and you needed to take some other workshop that you couldn't do anything. No, the basic workshop is all you need, okay? So let's just, skip this stuff here. Okay, so, real quickly for those that don't know what short sales are, what is it? So you need to understand that it's where the homeowner owes more than what the house can sell for. This isn't the loan. I'm not talking about the loan on the house. I'm talking about judgments, second liens, tax liens, everything else. See, a lot of people think it's just what's the mortgage. That's not the case, okay? And plus, when you sell your house, you only get 90% of list price. So that, right there puts you behind on a lot of stuff. A lot of times that there is a foreclosure coming up, okay? And when there's a foreclosure, you don't have enough time to do the traditional sale. Okay, so in Georgia, you got 30 days. Texas, it's 21 days. Missouri's 21 days. Man, I wish I was in a judicial state. Okay, judicial state is maybe 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. You got a lot of time to do a short sale. In Missouri, I got 21 days. Now, we just stopped the foreclosure date. That's all we do. We don't do the entire short sale in 21 days. We stop the foreclosure first, then we negotiate, okay? Usually there's a lot of deferred maintenance on these houses. The buyer, they can't get the buyer can't get a traditional loan, so if the homeowner wants to sell it, the buyer can't get a loan because it takes too long, to get it, approved. The lender requires the home to be sold as is. Okay, so the seller can't fix anything up, so that limits the number of buyers. Okay, the lender has to actually approve who the buyer is. They cannot change. Okay, the buyer cannot be related to the seller either. So all parties have to be unrelated. And if you want these slides, just text short, and I can send you the slides. Mark says, is there any seasoning time from the time you take title to when you sell? Very good. I don't know if I can cover that here. Right here, I'm on the slide for you. Exactly right. So on Fannie Mae loans, basically, or loans that are not FHA, it's 90 days. Okay. Mark, it's 90 days. You have to hold that house. Okay. Now let me tell you, I bought a house recently for $29,000 and I sold it for $275,000. Do you think I could hold on to that house for 90 days before I sell it? Yeah, pretty simple. Okay. So you just do that. Now, if you're going to rehab it, it's irrelevant because it's going to probably take you 90 days to fix it up and sell it. Now, you can't sell it for more than 20% profit in less than 90 days. You can't sell it at all for any price in less than 30 days. Now, in my advanced workshop, I show you how to use a land trust and you can sell it the same day, but that's a ninja trick. You don't need it. Okay, just hold it for 90 days. Okay, but that's a good question, and there's your slide for that. I don't have time to go over any of this, but there are a set of documents that you need to turn in. I'll be doing a future presentation that'll dive into the documents, but right now people need to know how to find them, how to market to them, and where they're at, okay? You saw my thing about FHA having triple the foreclosure rate. Guess what you should target? So you have 3 sets of main documents. You got an RMA. That is a form that comes from the bank. It has their documents and stuff you have to submit as I show on the screen. Then you've got the realtor documents, okay, the listing agreement, the contract, some other things. Then you've got the contractor estimate, some comps, and what I call a letter of explanation. That's not a letter of explanation that says, hey, David told me I can make $138,000 on a house he sold last weekend. Would you please do that for me? But rather you do a little bit different explaining why, the house should be sold at that $29,000 price. And the bank said, yes, if you want this house, David, you have to pay $29,600. They told me I was forced to pay that. And I agreed, okay, with it. Now, the key, guys, is broker price opinion. The bank sends out an appraiser, okay, or a realtor to determine the value. This is very key to your process. Now, all this is going to result in an approval letter. That approval letter is a document that says that here's your price, and you've got so many days to close, and it's going to take you a while to get there. So don't think these are quick. This can take 3 months, 6 months. It might even take you 9 months. But so don't quit your day job yet, okay? Keep working at McDonald's or Walmart or GM or IBM or wherever, build up your backlog, okay? But once you get your backlog built up, then you got one coming off every month. Look, guys, this isn't mass marketing. This isn't, wholesaling, wholesaling kind of stuff or whatever like that. This is not mass marketing. Look, I'll cover this at the end. I just have 60 a month in St. Charles County. I just want one, okay, on it. So this isn't mass marketing to do this. Okay, why to do them? Okay, massive profits. I'm going to blow through this here. This is an example of a house. We'll just skip it here. So basically, I bought it for $33,900, put 70 grand in it, sold it for $205,000, made $99,000 profit. It was a rehab. That's why you want to do them. Here's another house. Quick example. I'm going to blow through it real fast, okay? Now, so I did $2,200 worth of work. That's nothing. That's like the electric bill, the real estate taxes for a week or so. I bought it for $158,000. I sold it for $240,000. I made 80 grand. And all I did was fix some squeaks in the floor. So I wholesale them for 80 and I rehab them for 120, 150. Now, there's a document you need to do short sales. This is really crucial. This is why I give this away for free, okay? And you need one important document that lets you do everything in a short sale. If you don't have it, you're dead in the water. So if you text short to my phone number, I'll give this to you for free with it. So, so go ahead. And if you don't have that already, some of you are on these calls before, some of you are new to it. So I don't know, kind of running through some stuff maybe you've heard, maybe it'll kind of reinforce what you learned before, but make sure that you get my video presentation that goes through this in an hour and a half and stuff. So marketing, okay, that's a really big part of this, okay? If a tree falls, to the ground in the woods, did anybody hear it? Well, probably not. So you need to be in the woods. You need to be where the foreclosures are, where the homeowners are that are getting foreclosed. They're losing their house, okay? So you're gonna have to text short. I'm not gonna have time to go into the marketing program because I'm just about, just about out of time, for my hour slot here with it and stuff. And so, so basically, you want to do marketing to them, okay? Now, how do you do that, okay? And so, oops, hang on a second. So basically, there's a website called listsource.com, okay? And then you want to choose your county or your zip codes. You want to go for subprime loans. That's a category. That means that the people weren't qualified. Now, these are not foreclosures, okay? We still are in the forbearance and there's only 10% foreclosures taking place. So you have to reach out to people that don't have a foreclosure date. So listsource.com, you can get the names and addresses of people that are most likely to have missed a payment, okay? Now, over the next 2 months, all these people are going to start becoming onto the foreclosure list. And so there's another marketing system I have, that I go through in my group coaching call, Short Sale Profits, that I do for a monthly group coaching call, that shows you how to get the foreclosure people before anybody who sells a list. Foreclosure.com, foreclosure, whatever.com, whatever those places are. I know how to get the list before them. Okay, so, and that's what I teach you how to do. You're going to be the number one uno guy in the marketing side. But until those start to kick off, you would do the method I'm showing here. And then you're going to set your criteria. So, your criteria is, so you got another question, Jonathan. So you can't assign the contract like wholesaling with a short sale. Very good. That is absolutely correct. The bank approves the buyer. So not only do they approve that the seller is allowed to do the short sale, in other words, they look at the seller, and if they got 100,000 in cash in the bank, they're not going to approve the short sale. So they have to approve the seller. They also have to look at the buyer and approve the buyer. And that approval letter I said that comes out at the end of 3 months, 6 months, will have the name of the buyer, and it cannot change. Okay, you have to close with that person. Now, once again, I have a ninja technique that I teach in the advanced workshop where I know how to get the bank to accept a land trust. And in a land trust, if you're familiar with that, and I talk about, I got a free Monday night investor session I do with my lending program. Almost every Monday night, I do this free investor session at 8 p.m. Eastern time on Monday nights. And I go through my lending program. Well, one of the things I talk about is I lend to you if you're using a land trust. And a land trust has a beneficiary. So you can sell a beneficial interest immediately on title. The trustee name is there and stays in place. But once again, you don't need to assign it, Jonathan. Close on it. Okay. Now close on it. Well, that means that you're going to need some money. Okay. Well, I got money. Okay. I'll take a small cut of your profit. So instead of making 138,000, you make 120. Okay. Which one do you want? 0 or 120? In short sales, you're getting these prices so low that, any hard money lender is going to be willing to step in on it and stuff. And so basically, listsource.com, choose your zip codes. There's a category called subprime loans. Don't worry about what those are, but basically they're people that didn't qualify for a loan, but they have one. And those are kind of basically the people who probably aren't able to make their payments right now with it. And then other criteria is, 3-bedroom, so many square footage, your personal tailored type criteria that you have on there. So in summary, basically, you can make a lot of money negotiating short sales directly with the bank as an investor. You are going to be working with the bank. I want to emphasize this. I am not teaching you to go find a realtor who has a listing on the MLS and it's a short sale. Okay, I'm not teaching you to find a house and give it to someone else to negotiate the short sale for you. Okay, they do that for a flat fee. And I have a lot of friends that do that, but you know what? They're getting $5,000. They don't care that they negotiate that price down to $29,600. Okay, the bank came back the first time at me at 190. So a flat fee negotiator is going to stop somewhere between 190 and 29,600 because they won't get paid a dime more for anything in between. So I do not teach you to be a person negotiating for someone else. I'm teaching you to do this for you as the buyer, for you as the entity buyer on this transaction with it. And so that's what I'm teaching. In summary, you can help families out of a crisis that's still occurring. It's still occurring. This kind of slide, it wasn't meant for the pandemic. This slide was actually meant pre-pandemic because between 2009 and 10, it was still occurring all the way up to 2020 because David's been doing them for 10 years. Okay, and when there were very few, Dave was making $3 million in his retirement accounts. Guys, that's money that my wife didn't spend. Okay, think how much money I made. That didn't make it to an IRA. I'm only 56 years old. I shouldn't be. Well, I should be putting things in an IRA, but point is I can't get it out. Okay, so now I lend it to other people. In summary, there's no competition. Look, I don't know how many people have on here that are wholesalers. Okay, but gosh, what are you doing? You're competing against other buyers. Okay, so you're a rehabber trying to buy a house. You go out there and the wholesaler puts it out and he gives it to his big list and you got 30 people talking to the wholesaler wanting to buy it. Okay, in a short sale, there's no other buyers, guys. 0 buyers. You're the only buyer that's allowed. None, nobody. And then here's the other one. Let's say you were a wholesaler and you're doing direct mail marketing. You mail a letter to the seller. Uh, he calls you up. Uh, he says he wants to sell you the house. You say you want to buy it, and then you argue about what you want for the price. He wants this much. You want to give this much, and you fight to get there. In a short sale, the seller doesn't care what the price is. The seller doesn't care. There's never a discussion of how much you should pay for the house. As a matter of fact, I have this ninja technique to stop a foreclosure. You want to write this down in your notes. Ninja technique is that to stop a foreclosure with the bank, I turn in my offer really, really low. Okay, because it scares the bank into thinking, well, what's wrong with this house? We better postpone the foreclosure and send somebody out to look at it, right? And so I explain this to the seller, okay? That's what I'm doing. Now I say to them, now please don't go out and start doing short sales, and put me out of business, but I'm going to share my ninja thing with you. And they kind of laugh because they're not going to go out and do short sales, but they laugh about it. And I say, now, do you think I should lower the price? Because remember, we got to stop this foreclosure date. And they say, yeah, why don't you lower the price a little bit more? and so, so it's a beautiful world. So, in summary, there's no competition with other buyers or with the seller. In summary, pre-pandemic, prior to January 2020, there were 40 foreclosures a month in my county, St. Charles County, Missouri, okay, which is where I do these. Now, I've got students in 9 different states doing short sales everywhere, but basically, for me personally, there were 40 a month pre-pandemic, okay, and I just wanted one. That's all I need. I don't want a bunch at all. So every month there were 39 that went to foreclosure. Poor people. It's too bad. In St. Louis County, there were 300 a month. Okay, pre-pandemic. Okay, well, right now, due to the pandemic, COVID, forbearance, unemployment rate, there are 5 times as many. It's colossal. This is a horrible thing if they foreclose on these people. There's 5 times as many right now on it and stuff. Anyway, so we're just about out of our time here with it. I'll stick around. We'll keep answer any questions or anything like that with it. So you can text short to me. The 4th Wednesday of each month, guys, 8 p.m. Eastern time, 7 p.m. Central time. Kind of try to pick a different topic. And you always get in contact with me, via email or my website, or the best way is just text short to my phone number. That lets us connect with our contact information. I can give you free materials, and so, I can answer your questions, for you, and everything like that with it. But anyway, so are there any questions, tonight on anything that I've presented? Or anything like that, just throw your question in the chat. But actually, I think I can let you guys talk. I'm gonna allow everybody to talk if you so choose to. And if you want, you can just holler out with your question or anything. I have no problem staying a few more minutes later with it. So anybody here on the call got any questions they want to use verbally? Just go ahead and shout it out or throw it into the chat box on it. I'm going to take a drink of water here. Okay, well, guys, I appreciate everybody coming on here tonight. Go back and replay this recording. In 1 hour a month, it's really hard for me to teach you short sales. So, get in contact with me. I can send you a full 1.5-hour presentation that goes into more detail, free, along with all the slides. You can check out my website and look at, training materials that I have that do cost money, but I'm not trying to sell any of that tonight. I'm just trying to present to you one option for a method of purchasing homes that you need to make a decision on. And I can tell you, in this economy and with the number of unemployed we have, and 18 months of backlog of people that are behind on their payments, short sales will be an extreme profitable method for making money in real estate that was extremely profitable prior to COVID. Can you imagine that, guys? Okay, I'm making $50 to $150,000 profit. You know, I got students right now that are doing short sales. One guy bought a house for $28,000. He's changing the carpet and selling it for 128. Okay, got another student that paid 24,000. He's putting 30 in it and he's selling it for 150 on it and stuff. And so, you know, the biggest problem that I got right now is, you know, we can't get the bank any lower than $25,000 for the house. So I keep arguing with my students, my coaching students, quit doing short sales on $150,000 houses. Go, don't do that. Do this on a $250,000 house. You know, you're only making 75 grand or 100 grand, you know, on the house and stuff. And so anyway, guys, I'm not kidding. You know, you get that hour and a half presentation. I show you numerous houses. I've done hundreds of houses and make a ton of profit. And this isn't about mass marketing. So take a look at it in more detail. Text short to my phone number, 636-685-2990, and get my full presentation if you don't already have it. And you know, go after short sales, help families out. If you have a heart to help families, they'll hear that in your voice on the phone. And then it's just really simple. The banks are wanting to dump the houses. You know, they haven't been able to foreclose for a while. And so, you know, they're wanting to get rid of those so they can get them off their books. So anyway, I don't see any other questions. I've given you all plenty of time. I do appreciate you being here this evening. Go back and watch the video. Let me know if you have any questions or need any help really on anything in real estate. I mean, that's why I do those free Monday night investor sessions on my lending program. I show you how I rehab my houses. I show you when do you replace the roof. You know, I show you some non-MLS ways to buy houses besides short sales on there too. So feel free to get on in on that on it. So guys, I appreciate it. I will see you all later. This is the end of our July REI USA short sale profits group and everything. So I will see you guys next time, or if you call me, we'll try and help each other out on it. This is all for training and educational purposes.